better roll them dice. You never know if it could change your life. Take a chance, you're neither wrong or right. You never know if you don't roll them dice. You better roll them dice. You never know if it could change your life.
Hello, Matt.
Oh, Rob, you must have me confused. I'm not Matt. I'm renowned British character actor Michael Caine.
We get raked over the coals. That is the worst Michael Caine I've ever heard in my entire life.
What you think my Michael Caine accent is bad just because he has one of the most distinctive voices in all of the silver screen?
You sound like Michael Caine doing a Paul McCartney impression is what you sound like. Yeah. What of all the people you could have picked, Michael Caine. Oh wait, sorry. Is this
Rob,
joke?
I am Michael. Because making something disappear isn't enough. You have to bring it back. That's why every magic trick has a third act, the hardest part. That's what we call the prestige class.
Damn, I love it. Okay, welcome everybody to Dungeon Master of None.
I'm Dungeon Master Matt. Michael Caine is gone forever.
I'm Dungeon Master Rob, and we are talking about the prestige class, the third act of your character, as it might be, that brings it all together, the thing that makes the showy, flashy thing that makes the trick, the class, all worth pursuing. It also has been unceremoniously removed from the game for 5th edition for some reason.
Yeah. We won't. It was because of all those dead little canaries at the bottom of the trick cages that the little girl didn't know about.
They got tired of. Yeah, it was bad look. It was.
It's not good. Yeah, but we love prestige classes here, or at least we love parts of them, and I think it's an interesting part of D&D design.
I'll put my cards on the table. I understand and even agree with the decision to do away with prestige classes from a design perspective. I understand why they're not particularly useful and why there are other ways to put those abilities and class features somewhere else. All of that being said, I love prestige classes. I think they're fun. I always liked to read them and dream up characters, and I had lots of characters with totally doofy prestige classes because I thought they were a good idea, and I never regretted it. Even though they're often mechanically less powerful than other options and involve some really weird build paths, I like them. I like the idea behind them. Some of them are really well designed, some of them are really poorly designed, but yeah.
What, Rob, your character who was a sand shaper, a character that's really good at making sand things, was too doofy?
I was thinking of the...
No, you didn't actually have a sand shaper, but it is one of the doofier prestige classes.
You got me for a second, because I was like, oh, I think I might have thought about that. I think the dumbest one I had was definitely a what was it, the Eye of Grumpsh, whatever the cleric or oracle barbarian multi-class prestige was. I had one of those, which sounded like a really good idea, but it was incredibly difficult to build toward and didn't work all that well. But I was very excited about it. I was super pumped about the concept.
Well, Rob has a whole list of some of his favorite prestige classes, but before we begin, Rob, I have a little bit of Dungeons & Dragons history trivia for you.
Ooh.
So I'm not, this isn't technically true, but in spirit it is true. So it counts for your divine prestige classes. But do you know what the first prestige class was in Dungeons & Dragons?
No, I don't. I probably should have looked this up. I'm going to take a stab in the dark, though.
Yeah,
put my
give me your
cards
guess,
on the table.
though.
I'm going to say Mystic Theurge.
Okay. Not anywhere close. I can't give you any points for that.
Damn.
I'm going to play
That's fine.
the song from Family Feud.
That's okay.
Show me Bard. If we go back to the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook and you turn to page 117 in Appendix 2, you get what basically functions as a 3rd edition or Pathfinder prestige class, and that's a class you can't start as, and you have to fulfill certain requirements to get into it.
Wow, I really overthought this. Okay, that's very cool. I didn't know that.
Rob,
What did you have to do to be a bard?
Oh, Rob, wouldn't you like to know? Okay,
I
first,
would like to know.
So here's the introduction. As this character class subsumes the functions of two other classes, fighters and thieves, and then taps them off with magical abilities, it is not often allowed by dungeon masters. Even though this presentation is greatly modified from the original bard character class, there was one in a supplement before. It is offered as a supplemental to the system, and your DM will be the final arbiter as to the inclusion of bards in your campaign. All right, Rob, here are the requirements. A bard must have scores of 15 or better in the following abilities: strength, wisdom, dexterity, and charisma. Furthermore, a bard must have at least a 12 in intelligence and a 10 in constitution.
I remember, not that this was a prestige class, but I remember how incredibly annoying it was to create a bard because of the bonkers stat requirements. You know, you had very little wiggle room when it came to stats, which was really ridiculous. Yeah, just wild.
It gets worse.
Oh,
to
more.
get to a bard, bards must begin play as fighters, and they must remain exclusively fighters until they have achieved at least 5th level of experience. Anytime thereafter, and in any event prior to attaining 8th level, so I guess not any time thereafter, they must change their class to that of thieves. Again, sometime between 5th and 9th level of ability, bards must then leave off thieving and begin clerical study as druids. Druids were a clerical subclass back then.
What?
After this time, they are actually bards under druidical tutelage. And they also must always remain neutral, but they just can't be any of the extreme alignments. So those are your ridiculous requirements of like 8 levels of shit plus incredible ability scores to become the first technical, or not technical, spiritual prestige class.
Prestige class. That sounds awful. That's such a chore. Why? Weird.
Well, that's one of the reasons why people didn't like prestige classes. Let's talk about what they are, right?
Yeah,
They're classes you can
that's a good
join,
point, actually.
And they have requirements, right? They could be in-game requirements or like character sheet requirements.
Yes. So prestige classes are, by definition.
Thank you for listening to Rob and I's free preview of our December Patreon episode. And if you want to hear the rest of the episode, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/Dungeon Master of None. Get the full episode, a bunch of episodes, and 3 prestige classes for 5th edition. Thanks for listening, and keep rolling them dice.